misspelled my last name all the time, quite frequently. So I knew what the connection was from BB when I saw the article, and I know I played a lot of stuff on BB. So I was playing, had a field day. They called me Fingers on that record. That's the only place they referred to as Fingers was on that one BB King session. That's where that comes from. Right. Everything has it's funny how history, the depth of history, you just can't look at the surface. You have to go back to see where it comes from. Sure. And the whole thing with Bob Dylan and Herb Lavelle to get to that point with BB. I mean, that was a whole journey. And before that, Herb's journey is something else. I mean, Herb passed away in 2009. But his journey was incredible. Being a musician in the army, he played in the band. He had the best band in Europe, and the band was so good that they would close down the town in France when they were holding up or whatever they were doing, and the war would stop.
The war would stop.
They would stop. You couldn't get in, you couldn't get out. You couldn't go to fight. You had to stay in town. And he was in that band.
Well, let's go and check out your bass.
Sure.
So here it is. So 69. You got it from a pawn shop.
From a pawn shop, yeah.
Right.
Always.
This is rather gorgeous. So there's loads of modifications you've done.
Oh, yeah.
To say the least. Now, you stripped it off, you said, in the 70s?
In the 70s. I changed my name in the 70s.
You changed your name?
I changed my name.
What did you change your name from and to?
Rasan Mfaume.
Oh, right.
You see some credits like that on... Okay, that's me also.
Right.
I did some stuff with Algerian cat, Errol Parker. That's the only thing I recorded that I can remember. Oh, I did Fat Jones and Mel Lewis, I think, with that, using that name.
Great.
So then I had to take my initials off.
Oh, I see. So this is where your initials were.
That's what my initials
Hence the design there.
So I had to, work with it, to make something else out of it. So I put some diamonds in there.
So did you use this on BB?
Oh, yeah.
So 69, so this would have been...
This is the bass.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes, this is it.
Beautiful.
Didn't have the master control volume, didn't have the off and on switch, didn't have the electric battery in here to charge it by putting the plug in there. It was really high tech for the time.
Right.
But I took all that stuff out just like straight now, like it was originally.
And what is this bridge here?
This is a bass Babsix bridge. Very good bridge. You can alter it locks the strings in place more so than a normal bridge.
Great. And what have you got? What are these pickups?
These are Fender noiseless pickups.
Great.
In the stock noiseless pickups.
Beautiful. So master volume, individual volumes for the pickups?
Yes.
And an overall tone?
Overall tone, exactly. And an off and on switch.
And what does this one do? Is this a phase?
In that a phase, exactly.
Right. Let me give it to you. And this is the ESP neck on it.
The ESP neck, yes.
Yeah.
The legendary ESP neck. Samba.
Nice. So you're using flats?
These are slick rounds.
So they're like the round that are then shaved.
Named down. To which degree, I do not know.
Right.
I used to use Labella quarter rounds, but they weren't available all the time. So I switched to these Ken Smith strings, which I've been using for the last 10 years. And
Beautiful.
I can always get them.
Right.
So that's the story there.
Beautiful. So the ESP neck, you put this on, what, said 1980?
1980.
1980.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. So it's, it's older than anybody else in this room, except for me, of course. But
well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is about this neck, the whole thing with the neck situation, Carl Thompson used to be my tech. Him and another, I had a couple of techs, but he was the main one, and he got so tired. He was everybody's tech. I mean, he worked at a place in the village called, it had a shop that we would all go to. And he got tired of fixing our bases, so he started to start making his own.
That's smart. Yeah.
You know? That's exactly what happened. And so Carl Thompson became famous making his own basses, and the same thing with Alice had mentioned my Jocko bass, the Abe Rivera bass. One of my students was a friend of Abe Rivera, and so he said, you know, Abe needs a little, you know, help. He's a good cat, and he's not getting any business. If he makes a bass for you, maybe he'll get a little more business. So we designed a bass together, and he made the bass, and when I met Jocko, Jocko played the bass on the video that we had conspired to make over a period of 2 years, you know, and that's the bass he played in the video.
I remember it well.
Okay, so that's all that came about from one of my students, Fred Paterno.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, speaking of basses, let's swap you out. Tell me about this one. I played this a second ago. It's so light, so beautiful to play.
That was a part of the design feature. I said it has to be light. I designed this with two other people at ESP after getting that neck. It's very light. That was the design feature. That's all I wanted was a light bass,
right,
with a long neck.
Yep.
Okay. And they ended up giving me this, and it became and never went into production until like almost 10 years later.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it took them a while to get it together.
It took them a lot. They had a lot of problems with the company.
Again, these strings are beautiful. It's the same ones?
Same ones. I used the same strings. Ken Smith Slick Rounds.
Ken Smith
Slick Rounds.
Slick Rounds.
And Ken was a bass player who I used to work with in the city and in the Cummingham studio. He was another studio musician. And he stopped playing to make his own basses. So you see Ken Smith basses and strings. So a lot of guys have taken their careers, especially when the studio session went downhill in the early 70s. It started going south because everybody had a home recorder, and the production studios, companies were making their own jingles in their own production houses. And the same thing with people making records. So the studios in New York started diminishing. And so they got the news and they started doing other things.
Right. Makes sense.
It does.
That's beautiful. Plays beautifully. Really super light.
In fact, actually, this bass is higher than that. This is my workout bass,
right,
because it's harder to play.
Right.
Yeah, so you notice I'm wearing this finger weight.
Yeah.
To make the middle even harder because I have my weak fingers. So having this finger weight. In fact, I'm going to be getting a set of these very soon. I'm expecting them to come, and I'm endorsing.
It's a strength.
Strengthening your fingers. You have anything requiring keyboard work. Anything using your finger dexterity, typing, computer working, video games, well, it's thumb mostly, but anything requiring ambidextrous agility of the fingers, they're good for.
Right.
So they have different weights, and I'm into it because they're helping me.
Yeah. And you broke your fingers fairly recently. Is that what happened?
Well, I broke the finger. Yeah, broke this finger being distracted, pulling down my garage door, and got caught in the folds.
Oh.
Yeah. But because the finger always gave me trouble in the past, my first reaction was, maybe this will make it work better. I hope it did, but it's actually, in a way it has, is maybe use other fingers more, and I just live with it, I have to deal with it. And I didn't know it was broken until like a month later.
Oh.
I had a gig the next night, so I had to play with the finger up in the air.
Right.
Like this, That's how I'm playing, but I've gotten through it, so it's
marvelous. And then next up, we got this other ESP.
Now this is the one I was hoping they would have delivered 30 years ago, because there's a rosewood neck on it. This is the way I ordered it, with a rosewood neck, and a jazz bass configuration. But they came up with that, and this is heavier than that. So they kind of like went something because they went exotic with this. It's called, this with a V, some kind of wood. But you can feel the difference in the weight.
Oh, yeah. This is more significant.
Yeah. This has an off and on switch also.
It's nice.
Yeah, so this is the newest edition. I'm working out playing this one. I just raised the action the other night. Good job, Jerry. It feels much better. I just let it sit, you know. So this is more easy. It's easier to play than that one.
Right.
So at this point, I like for the instrument to be easy to play and not have to really play as hard and have it more coming from the head as opposed to the physical thing.
Sure.
Playing less. Get these fingers to work.
Right.
You know, when I want them to work, you know, consistently.
Yeah.
You know, no surprise, but they surprise me. So my biggest go-to is playing chromatics.
Right.
I seem to having a big problem with my fingers seem to pick up here. I have to figure out what to do with that. This is what I want to play, but where I want to play, stuff is in the way.
Yeah.
So. There you have it.
Beautiful. It sounds gorgeous. It looks beautiful.
Yeah,
now,
it looks great.
When I first came in, the first thing I noticed and was really very happy to see was a polytone. Now, when I was in England as a kid, this was like the best little amp you could get.
Yeah.
They were really, really great.
Still is.
Beautiful.
Oh, I'm in B flat. What about that?
Because you've been playing with horn players. A lot of horn players, so you're thinking B flat.
It's funny, I pick up this instrument because the neck is longer, the notes are in different places.
Yep.
So it's like, I occasionally have to realize I'm playing the long scale.
Yep. I'm just excited to see this polytone. I'm like a big kid. Yeah, because when I was a kid, it was like, these were sort of legendary because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have the interwebs, as you well remember.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So you used to buy magazines. You'd buy like you had the British Guitarist, and then you had Guitar Player, and then there was the only bass player magazine was American. There wasn't a British one at first. So I'd get the American bass player and the American guitar player and look at it and just see things like this and see guys like you like standing next to amplifiers, you know, and be like, and the local stores where I grew up didn't have polytones.
No.
Ampegs were hard to get, you know, so these were all like these kind of.
Let's have Marshalls and boxes and
then 80s was all Trace Elliott's. Remember Trace Elliott's? But so in the 80s when I was playing a lot, you know, this was like this fictional kind of thing that in America guys had Ampegs and polytone amps, and these were really super loud, but they were so small, and we were like, wow, what is this? And now, of course, you know, you go online and find out everything in 5 seconds. Just Google it.
But, right, but they don't have it in there. You can eBay it.
Yeah, you can eBay it.
Yeah.
But in those days, you'd romanticize it.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly.
You see pictures of guys like you playing and going, be like, wow, what is that? It's the magic. It's all about, it's got to get that amp.
Well, or that bass.
Or that bass. Yeah.
That's funny. You remember the Chet Atkins story where he talks to somebody says, that guitar sure sounds good. He says, oh, yeah. He takes it off and puts it down and walks the other side of the room and says, how does it sound now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's what you put into it.
Yeah. I loved Chet Atkins had some great quotes there. I remember they asked him what he attributed his success to, and he said something like, he goes, I still haven't found a good chord substitution, a great song, a great production. The point was, he just was like, I don't know, I just keep trying to get better.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. There's no, it's like, what have I done for you lately?
Yeah.
You know, you only going to listen to the last hit.
So, I'm going to change the subject for a second. So there's music in everyone. You showed this to me earlier.
Yeah.
Now, this is a very, very. I mean, I was looking at it for a few minutes. I mean, a very in-depth look at everything musical. It's not just from a bass player's perspective; it's from a musician's perspective. I mean, you've got chapters on how music works, how it's created, how it's improvised, how to study, how to learn, how to practice. I particularly like the how to study because all of us are guilty of spending too long on something or not spending the right amount of time, not focusing on the right things. You know, I have a tendency to play the things that I already know how to play really well.
Of course.
Yeah, which is great. You know, show off for, hey, look at this great thing I can do. But of course, I'm not learning from it. So to see this, and I love this. Learning is 90% mental, and the human brain can't concentrate past 20 minutes on only one subject while learning. So go on to something else, take a break, and come back to it within the time allotted for that learning session or later in the same day. That there is worth the price of the book alone.
That's for you.
Yeah, for me because you know I'm a producer, an engineer, and a mixer, so I know this to be true.
Yeah.
If I sit and obsess about any one thing for several hours, it's going to be the worst sounding thing in my track.
That's right. That's right. You got to get it while it's fresh.
Yeah.
That's why I always when I pick up an instrument, I'll just play whatever comes to my mind. I don't have any particular thing in mind. I'll just start playing. Then I'll focus on one thing. I'll focus on a chord or a key, and I'll develop something in time or a rhythm. When I come to it, it's basically whatever's around me, I'm going to feel that. I'm going to try to make that a musical statement, basically. Right. So it's been the key to my success, in a sense, being able to do that. Now, what you mentioned interesting about that, going back to that same track about what study, what it pulls together is like you talk about how you spend your time. Right. That's why I have
study, learn, practice here.
Yeah, so you know what you're doing. You know where your time is being spent. And what you haven't spent time on, you can see visually, oh, I didn't put any time on finger memory, or I didn't turn on song learning or ear training or whatever else that you might want to have to work on.
Which for guitar players like me is one of the biggest things, is we spend so much time on our technique and our ear, like...
Well, the competition's so high. And a guitar is an instrument that you can copy. You can put a pedal, a switch, and sound like somebody else. Right. Almost instantly, and it's really like other instruments don't have that.
Right.
You know, they have one sound, and it's the player that makes it sound with guitar. You guys have to work so hard to become distinctive,
sure,
and to find that little edge. Plus, I mean, the beauty of the instrument drives you also. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look in their book, there's a whole section on each instrument, how I describe what they do, how they function, and how they affect the human psyche. It's important to realize that, you know, the function of your instrument and how to, you know, use properly.
Well,
that's why you said for musicians, I really wrote this book for housewives and carpenters and electricians, because there's music in everyone. That's why I lay it out where it is, so like it's not about...
I agree. You know, we're all musicians.
Exactly. Yeah. Anybody can access it. In fact, a friend of mine, he was an engineer. He said, Jerry, I want to do your book, and I'm using your system, The Engineer in You. Because I had a whole series of book called The In You originally. And I changed it to this music in everyone, but it was the bass in you, the trumpet in you, the guitar in you, the flute in you, the piano in you, the drummer, all the popular instruments. Then I had a series of videos to go with them. Mm-hmm. The blues guitar in you, taught by B.B. King.
Oh, wow.
The jazz guitar in you, taught by George Benson. Mm-hmm. The whole thing, go for each instrument, some celebrity, 60-minute video. So
George Benson, there's a man with an ear.
Yeah. You can hear him sing.
I'm seeing him in whatever year, long time ago. Just hear him sing and play at the same time.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
That connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's scary.
You guys, I met a musician the other night, Vashti Jackson from Jackson, Mississippi. He was up at the club with Bobby Rush, got the award, the Grammy Award for his, after 83 years of performing. Well, not 83. He's 83 years old.
Right.
But he got his first Grammy.
Right.
Yeah, so we all had a good celebration, and Vashti was just incredible. He was doing the whole, you know, vocalizing vocalies with the playing. Mm-hmm. Just incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
That's whole next level stuff for me.
Yeah, it's just, and in fact, he was so hip. He was playing his grandfather's stuff. When it was steel guitar mm-hmm. from the, you know, the 1800s. He was with the slide. Mm-hmm. He did that number also. Wow. So he has a whole realm of music within him. He's only like in his 50, you know, so it's like he's got the whole trip. Wow.
Well, this has been incredibly enlightening. And one of my favorite interviews I've ever done, so I really appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for coming down and, that's having interest in what I'm doing. And we'll stay in touch.
We're going to obviously post a link where anybody can download this. Also, you know what? You were telling me about a new system that you're coming out with. Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, based upon that, I showed Herb Lavelle that book in 1999, and he said, because you can see that's laid out where I'm not using musical notation. He said, well, can you teach music using colors, using your system? I said, yeah, why not? So I came up with Jamboree. It's a music learning system that uses colors, and I don't just use the colors of the rainbow that Pat Pythagoras did, that we've known all the time, using the 7 notes of the rainbow, the 7 colors, which red.
I mean, I know that.
Orange,
I'm not sure if
yellow, green, blue, indigo,
Sure.
violet. Those are the 7 rainbow colors that we normally associate with color sound music, because color sound music is nothing new. Okay, once he came with that system, people started relating to music that way. But it's only the key of C. Those notes. C is red, B is violet, D is orange, A is indigo, E is yellow, G is blue, F is green. I went back and forth, you notice.
Yeah,
I didn't go in order.
Yeah, I noticed.
So what I added was the notes in between. The black keys on the piano.
Yeah.
The C sharp and the E flat and the F sharp and the A flat and B flat. I gave them color names. So you have pink, and you have gold, and you have silver, and turquoise, and brown.
Wow, there you go.
So this is what we live with.
Yeah.
And ironically, last year, in 2015, a guy did a survey, all the Billboard 100 hits, and only 10% of them were in the key of C.
Really?
90% of them use the black keys. The black keys are accidentals.
Right.
So it falls right into my path in terms of people accepting this way of learning and feeling this is what you like. This is the music you like. It's in these keys, not that key.
I think all guitar players, we like to write in E and A.
Well, E and A is good. That's
a couple of G's, few G's.
But with
piano players like the white keys.
System, but in the case with the E of key, he uses the black key. He uses G sharp and he uses D sharp.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the black key. You're talking gold and you're talking silver.
Nice.
Okay, and the true key of E, and I know it's E minor, as in terms of like E what's the one Low Korean, all that Low Korean Dorian.
And
Ionian, Dorian, Ionian. Yeah, this incorporates all the notes as opposed to just being the keys on the white keys on the piano.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm looking to do something with it, with the crowdfunding thing coming up this week.
Is there any link I can put anywhere for that?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a link. Yeah.
Okay, great. There'll be a link appearing somewhere.
We'll link it up and we'll hook it up and we'll all be together.
Marvelous. Thank you ever so much for your time, Jerry. I really appreciate
Morris,
it.
It's my pleasure, man. Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
home and everything to the world, to your fans out, your fan base out there who watch your work.
Your fan base.
Work. Well, our fan base.
Yeah,
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We can't help it.
I know, it's a wonderful journey.
All right.
Thank you ever so much. Please leave any questions and comments below. I really appreciate your time greatly. It was wonderful to meet you. Thank you ever so much for coming to my party at Sunset.
Oh man, that was a great
true.
party.
Thanks, Alex, for
yes, indeed,
for bringing you down.
All right.
Well, marvelous time recording and mixing. Please leave questions and comments below, and we'll speak to you again soon.
You've heard me talk about the many aspects of music having an influence on my life in terms of giving me inspiration. But I'm here to tell you now about the therapeutic aspects of healing. And I find that that aspect comes out even more so when you add color to the equation. When you're able to have colors involved with music, matching them together. It's a wonderful healing and therapeutic approach to learning music and also experiencing music. So please contribute to the fund drive to support color sound music here on Launchpad.